Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zed. Today we're going to be talking about once more TRCH and their pre-merger meta. Make sure to drop a like to this video to help this channel grow, subscribe, and leave notifications on. This is an update from my last video. If you would like to watch my last video, and a fair warning, it's a bit of a lengthy one, you'll find it in the description below. Now let's jump right into this one. So Torchlight, there's a lot to cover about this one, so try to be as concise as possible. I do have a second half of this. It's later on in the video where I cover technical analysis, but on the due diligence part, we still have quite a lot. So starting off, so TRCH, of course, if you've watched my previous video, you'll understand that they're actually merging with Meta in some kind of a reverse merger, and so everything TRCH will no longer be, and basically Meta will have everything, it will have the main ownership. It is actually also in an SEC filing, for instance this one here, and so you'll have to go look back into December. And just kind of a little bit of a quick summary of this one, just in case you didn't watch my last video. 25% of the shares will go to TRCH holders, the Torchlight holders for the current ones, and then 75% will go to Meta. The exact details of this one are a little bit confusing, but just treat it very much like a SPAC. There is a lot of details, and some of the details that, and I know I'm going through SEC filings, but I'm just summarizing my last video. Some of the details here is, for instance, TRCH is supposed to have zero debt, and they've actually done that in the last SEC filings. You'll notice that they converted their debts into notes, and then all their assets will be dissolved and paid to current shareholders. I've seen some kind of massive valuation, like $50 a share and all that stuff, and a lot of it was based on the price per acre for shale or oil and gas land. So for this one here, you have around 9,600 acres, around 134,000 net acres, and Torchlight owns 72.5% of that. And then also you have 1,100 gross acres on here for Delaware Basin. And one of the things that I went ahead and tried to check is the current average price for these kind of lands. And what it looks like is that, okay, in 2018, sure, it was 17,000 per acre. Currently in 2020, we're setting at 5,000. And we're not exactly sure what the current price is in 2021, but I've heard in some cases and some lawsuits that apparently the current valuation for them goes all the way down to $2,000 per acre, which is a little bit lower than the average of the rural. So the rural kind of agricultural lands are around 2,500. So a good conservative view, if you want to look into how much you're going to get per share, you're probably looking at 2,500. So it comes out, once you do all the math, and by the way, I'm not the one who's done the math, it comes out around $1.50 per share, and that's a really rough estimate because we don't know exactly any of the details. And we're not going to know an exact number until we actually get that SEC filing from them. So, okay, we got that aside. We moved on to, okay, how much our shareholders going to get per share. Now comes in towards Meta. I can go on in depth about metas and what we're going to see and all that stuff, but I've done that last time, and just for the sake of, making this video as short as possible, we're going to go ahead and look into Meta. So Meta. One of the newer kind of technologies they're working on is imaging, living a healthier care life with glucose-wise, so glucose-wise TM, and it is basically to monitor and check the kind of sugar level or glucose level in the body. It's still under development, so we don't know still have the exact details, but basically they're non-invasive 100% pain-free device with sensors that allow you to monitor body glucose level without even piercing your skin, and it can also give you some details towards your electronic devices, etc. We're going to go on and cover right now some of the wild rumors that are there. So one of the latest rumors that I've seen was that Tesla will acquire Meta. And the things that I've seen are, of course, from something like Elon Musk changing his profile picture to something that I found very interesting, and I wanted to at least mention that one, just singular one. So Meta, or Meta Materials, which is what we're actually reverse merging with, their address is 1 Research Drive, Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. And then someone pointed out on Innovacor, the Tesla's research and development team in Canada has built a battery-related research and development center. The base at InnovaCorp in Dartmouth, and they have the same address. And so they're all connecting singular dots and being speculative about, well, Tesla's going to buy out TRCH, or actually Meta Materials. And so they're jumping ahead with a reverse merger that we know, and then jumping ahead that Tesla's going to buy through that too. So it's kind of two things happening at the same time. A little bit of a chaos there, but looks like this website here is actually relating to a company, and they have all these different companies, and they say they invest in them. So here's the About Us section. You're an entrepreneur with a vision. You've spotted a market opportunity, gathered a team, you're launched a new venture, you're new, inventive, organized, and ready to step up your game. All that's needed is means to make it happen. And it looks like they're actually more of an investor company, or more of a startup incubator. Actually, that's what they are. They're an incubator. And it looks like the incubation is Tesla. It's a little bit odd, but interesting. I went on and looked into their Street View. I think this was taken in July 2015, and that's as much as we can get to see from Street View. So that covers that kind of Tesla rumors. We don't really know much. It could be just something where Elon is just, trolling with all of us. Could be actual news later on in the future. Could be something like that. He likes torches. You don't know. And treat it as that way. Just rumors. I try to go on towards the financials. I think that a big part of the Meta one is people don't even want to see their financials. Because, let's be clear, within the last, let's say even year, within the last 6 months, within the last 1 month, you get to see that the price point already for Meta gone almost 1,000%. And they were a Canadian penny stock. And it looks like this is a news that is a lot more worth it for Meta than it was for TRCH when you get to see that price spike, and they're very excited to join the American company. And here's where he comes into speculations, the massive speculations from the side of TRCH that this is going to be a game changer, Tesla is going to buy it, etc. And for that, we need to understand who they are, who Meta is. And for that, we're going to go ahead and cover a little bit of the presentation towards Meta. And so right on here, Meta, I did cover a few slides before onto this, but I think it's a really good place here to start this entire presentation. So the legacy plus value, basically, in addition to receiving 25% of the combined business with Meta, that's for TRCH, they will still maintain exposure to the oil and gas assets and will receive a pro rata share of any net proceeds generated from the sale or disposition of the assets. And there's a whole new vision, transition to development of a niche technology enabling nanomaterials that have broad applications in a future more dependent on making products more connected, functional, interactive, with energy, vision, and touch. Moving on towards the next slide. We don't have anything there. It's a transaction opportunity, actually. There we go. I apologize. My software might be a little bit tad too slow. I'm just going to actually scroll down rather than go right and left. Almost every great advancement technology can be attributed to a breakthrough, and basically they're saying that, well, they've been here for a while. The 21st century will be a new age of invisible, highly functional metamaterials, and the meta right here, metamaterials, and I did go through their products last time. They are anticipating that this is going to be more than a $3 trillion market, and where they operate is between sustainability of growth, competitive threats from Asia, which controls higher than 70% supply chain control. India and indium and indium oxide sales are around $20 billion per year, and the price and OEM demand for more performance keeps increasing. Emerging trends: 5G infrastructure, rollout of vehicle electrification, initial wave of growth on metamaterials, combined more than 3 trillion advanced materials, IoT, medical, energy, aerospace, and automotive markets. Metamaterial devices market expected to grow 10.7 billion by SAM by 2030. And then we go ahead towards the next part, which is the Meta as a key player in a value chain. I covered that one before, but the key advantages versus the competition is their high quality proprietary large area patterning, lower production costs, roll-to-roll capable, multiple functionality in a single area, for instance, transparent conductive signal enhancements, lightweight and flat and ready for vertical stackments, precise control with more materials choices to enable stronger, lighter material interactions, higher performance up to 40 times, mass customization design, building libraries of material structures and arrangements. We kind of covered that. The next. Advanced material competitive landscape. In metamaterial companies, there's only a handful. In chemical and specialty materials, some bigger names do jump ahead, like 3M, Fujifilm, etc. Carbon nanomaterials, you do have other names here. Graphites, for instance, nanocell, graphene, and graphene, not graphite. Semiconductors materials, you got Samsung as well there being a big name. And ITO and specialty coatings, AGC and PPG as big names. They do have relationships with Samsung, PPG, AGC. These are existing meta relationships. And I think that kind of covers everything we need. The only thing that I want to show you is MET transparent window film transforms outdoor to 5G coverage. And those are just smaller films that are able to also reflect or direct 5G networks and enhance it. So that is something, including as well metamaterials for microwaves and making those microwaves to be clear. Well, not the microwaves, the microwave devices itself, making the screens of the microwaves clear. The next one here, which is the nano heater to protect sensors, transparent to radar and LiDAR simultaneously, which is basically for self-driving cars. And this is the massive thing that's been discussed about Tesla. Consumer electronics, communication, health and wellness, example applications. I covered this slide before, and I think the rest have been covered. So this covers a little bit of the due diligence, but just before moving forward, I do need to look into their financial highlights. If you were to look into their product sales, etc., their gross profit from full year of 2019 to year to date for the quarter third 2020, it looks like it's a bit more comparable. There's a bit of an improvement there. Their net losses are massive, so far around $12 million. Last year was around $11 million, and so there's a massive negative net value there. Now moving on towards the technical analysis perspective. If you haven't done so, please make sure to subscribe and leave notifications on. It helps my channel a lot. And if you haven't done so, join our Discord. It's a free chat room where we can answer more questions and discuss TRCH further. So next coming in is the technical analysis, and on a 1 week perspective, we get to see that 10 SMA is above the 30 EMA. That's a good thing. 174 is above 113. We get to see the 200 SMA is above the 50 SMA. The blue line is above the purple line. And that's a little bit of a dangerous thing, but still we get to see the 50 SMA is actually growing upwards, and that's a positive thing. ADX, we get to see that the price point is a little bit due for a pullback, and we get to see that $4.83 to $2. I think that's a good pullback already. And momentum looks like it's strong. MACD is accumulating a little. So we need to look into a 1 day perspective. On a 1 day perspective, 10 SMA is above the 30 EMA. It's within the trading action zone, the price point. You see it really pulled nicely towards a reversal. Below the 224, that's where things get a little bit rougher, because between the 10 SMA and the 30 EMA trading action zone, that's where positive reversals are likely. 50 SMA is above the 200 SMA, and that's amazing. The ADX is retracting. Willing percent R is highly, well, not highly, but it's actually oversold at the current time. MACD is attempting a negative reversal, and momentum is dipping. I don't think we need to do the 2 hour perspective, but just to see if there's anything interesting I'm showing you here, everything looks to be somewhere where it's either accumulating or just doesn't tell us much. On the moving average band, it's expected to trade 263 on the top, 239 in the middle, and 215 in the bottom. Stochastic fast and stochastic slow are both showing either an accumulation or a drop down in price. And this is the actual chart that I drew last time, and I did tell you it can easily break above there, and it did, and then it tanked right after. I'll go through exact details of the updated chart, but before then, Fibonacci retracements shows a significant support at the 256, 202, 135, and 28 cents. Significant resistances 309, 386, and 483. Now we can go ahead and draw some physical lines. We're going to do that from the 1 month, 2 hour perspective. Price line actions. Oh, this is actually 1 month, 1 day, so we can fix that to 2 hour perspective. And some significant support lines, I would say the 272, below there 245, below there you're looking at 223, below there you're looking at 185, 156, and 142. Significant resistances, you're looking at 305, 322, 346, 377, 394, 436. So that kind of covers this here, and let's just jump into, let's say, 5 days, 2 hours, and pull back a little. And in terms of the kind of new trend lines, so we already have this one here. There's none current off the moment that I would say that are significant. You might have just started drawing this one a little bit different and start drawing it here and say, well, it's actually above this kind of trend line, and whether it stays above, then I'm fine with it. And this is your own personal choice, because trend lines are sometimes very subjective. Comes to my question, to the question to Ed, what do you think about this one? I definitely do think that there is perhaps other pumps and dumps and other pops and all that stuff in between, but investing Meta Materials looks to be very interesting. But for me, if I was going to invest, they are net negative company. I need to look into more details post merger after things settle down, and if they do, of course there's no guarantee they do, then I can invest within the next 3 months after the hype has been cooled down. You don't want to buy and invest something when it's hot. Otherwise, you've been stuck about the $4 and you're $2.75. And I might know some people are going to comment, well, this is going to be $5 next year. It's all about choosing your entry. And for me, current above $4 to entry is not fine. I mean, if you're trading, then sure, play with this trend line. And one of the significant supports that I would sell below is around 226 if it doesn't keep above there. And it's all depending on your game plan. I gave you a lot of information. It's your decision. What do you think about this ticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like. Have a wonderful day.